my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa and I, and I would like to welcome you into the fam. So as you all know by now, the goal of my channel is to be the most relaxing, healing, as well as supportive space here on YouTube. And in order to help you relax and find your calm place, we are going to be looking into the divine messages that are meant for you today. And in order to help you receive a reading that is tailored to your needs, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from, and I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. But that's not all that I have for you today. Once you have selected your group and received the first part of your reading, you can scroll down into the description box and pick a second part to add on to your reading, making it even more personalized and accurate so that you can receive the exact messages that are meant for you. But before I introduce you to all 4 groups, I would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Afterglow. So these days it can be so overwhelming as well as distracting having social media at your fingertips every step of the way. Sometimes I just feel like I need to escape. And Afterglow is the app where you can do that. It's such a healing app where you can escape from the craziness that's going on around you and in the world and just feel heard and understood by like-minded people. And Afterglow is a safe space and an app where you can speak your truth, be transparent, and open about what you're going through and connect with like-minded people who actually want to listen to you and give you great advice. So whenever you're feeling like you need a little bit of extra support, Afterglow is there to help. What I love most about the app is that the entire experience is so cozy and relaxing. It comes with beautiful ambient music. It's super easy to use and understand. There is no overwhelming setup phase for the app, and you can immediately get into receiving support or sharing uplifting energy with others. And I was positively surprised by how interactive this app is, and also by how quick to respond lots of other members of Afterglow are. It feels like being able to speak to a best friend at any time of the day. So if you're excited to try out a platform where you can connect with others, listen to their stories, as well as share yours, then Afterglow is the perfect app for you. It's been such a relaxing and wholesome way to ground myself, and I can't wait for you to experience the same. Download Afterglow now using my link in the description box, or simply scan the QR code on the screen, so you can meet new people in a happy, positive, and supportive space and discuss things that are important to you with people who care and understand. So the first round of divine messages that you are meant to receive is based off of you picking one of these 4 groups. But the second round is where it gets even more intriguing. The second part of your reading is based on your birth time, and it's broken up into 5 different categories. Those of you born from 12 a.m. midnight to 6 a.m. in the morning. The next group is for anyone who's born between 6 a.m. as well as 12 p.m. noon. The third group corresponds to anyone born between 12 p.m. noon and 6 p.m. in the evening. And the fourth group is for all of you born between 6 p.m. evening time as well as 12 a.m. midnight. And because I am aware of the fact that knowing your birth time can be a privilege that not all of us are able to enjoy, I have also dedicated a 5th group for any of you whose birth time is unknown. And as a little disclaimer, for any of you who are born right on the dot, so for example, right at 12 a.m. midnight, you can either select the group that you feel intuitively drawn towards, or you can tune into both readings, as you may be a mixture of 2 birth times. And the same goes for your birth time being unknown, but feeling really drawn to a particular birth time, almost like you intuitively know when you were born. Even though you may not possess formal confirmation of that, feel free to tune into what resonates with you. And if you're excited and love this fresh, innovative approach to a pick a card reading, make sure that you thumbs up this video as well as subscribe to my channel. As you guys know, I'm always developing new ways to provide you with highly accurate and personalized messages. So I know that this intro has been a bit longer, but I hope that you can appreciate me taking the time to explain thoroughly how this video works so that you can get the most use out of it. But now let me introduce you to the 4 groups that I have prepared for for you today. Group number 1 corresponds to the Antique Anatomy Tarot as well as the Lapis Lazuli. Group number 2 corresponds to the Gentle Heart Tarot as well as the Carnelian. Group number 3 corresponds to the Spirit Animal Oracle deck as well as the Black Obsidian. And group number 4 corresponds to the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle deck as well as the Cognac Calcite. But of course, the timestamps to all groups available to you today can be found down below in the description box as well as pinned to the comment section. So I will now provide you with a little moment of privacy so you can pause the video, meditate on the 4 groups so you can feel confident in the group that you chose. If you find it very hard to pick the right group for yourself, do know that I have a free PDF linked down below that you can download with tips on picking the right pile of cards for you as well as cleansing crystals. So I'll speak to you again momentarily. So by now you've hopefully been able to pick a group. I am going to be starting off with the Antique Anatomy Tarot in conjunction to the Lapis Lazuli. So if this is the group that you chose, you can keep watching group number 1. And to all of my other beautiful groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello group number 1 and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Antique Anatomy Tarot deck as well as the Lapis Lazuli. So this is the crystal that you chose. It's absolutely divine and beautiful. I'll put it right up here for you as we get into your reading to figure out what divine messages were meant for you, group number 1. First up, we have the High Priestess. So in the High Priestess, I do see that a divine message that's meant for you, group number 1, is to use your mind wisely and also to discern between what battle is worth fighting and what battle really just is not worth your time whatsoever. To make sure that you're valuing your time as well as your energy appropriately and to not give any of that precious time or energy to people who have decided to disagree with you anyways. Next up, we have the 5 of Elixirs. So in the 5 of Elixirs, I can see here in conjunction to the High Priestess that you're being called to do this if you want to avoid any type of emotional discomfort, suffering, and just overall feeling angry, overall feeling annoyed with other human beings. Because when you give people the power to upset you or to make you feel used, then you give them power over your life and your emotional state. And your emotions really do create your reality, so be very careful who you give that power to. The best thing that you can do for yourself, group number 1, is to not allow anyone the power or privilege to rule over your emotions. I can see here within the 9 of Elixirs that as long as you make sure that nobody has the power to make you feel happy or sad, that you keep that power within yourself, you are going to be able to thrive and lead a life that you're happy with. You're going to be able to lead a life that you feel fulfilled with because you are not dependent on someone else's mood. You are not kind of like meant to just hope that the other person will be merciful and not use their power that they hold over you against you. Next up, we have the Judgment card. So in Judgment, I do see here for you, group number 1, that a sense of liberation as well as hope is a divine message that you are meant to receive in conjunction to what we just spoke about. So if you feel like you can be emotionally very volatile, I can definitely see that receiving this in your reading seems to be like hope on the horizon, like a light at the end of the tunnel. And it also calls for a lot of introspection. It also calls for you to be honest with yourself and to look at situations in which you gave someone else power over your emotions, how that turned out, and whether you really think this is something you want to continue allowing to happen and transpire, or whether you are going to once and for all just take back your personal power. Next up, we have the 6 of of Cups. So group number 1, in the Six of Cups, we have healing as well as restoration. So healing and restoration is something that can definitely come to you once you have taken your power back, once you have decided, as the High Priestess suggests, to not give anyone the benefit of the doubt when it comes to your happiness, because why even risk it, group number 1? The divine message here for you is to use your experiences as a way to heal yourself and to move forward based on those memories and not giving anyone that extra inch that can cause fatal hurt within you. I do see here in the Five of Cups, which actually is the exact same card here as the Five of Elixirs, just from a different tarot deck, that this can again help you avoid disappointment, a feeling of loss or grief. So it is really important for you to know that you have two opposites here, okay? We have the Nine of Elixirs as well as the Five of Elixirs, the Five of Cups, that is just on the polar opposite spectrum, where the Nine of Elixirs shows happiness, it shows feeling interconnected, it shows feeling emotionally very stable and like you are in a place where you have your life under control. That compared to the Five of Cups or Five of Elixirs is definitely a completely different end of the spectrums. You're at two opposing sides, where I can see here in the High Priestess that you have to decide and also to quit self-sabotaging if choosing the Five of Elixirs, the Five of Cups seems to be a choice that you've made repeatedly that is actually a form of like self-harm or self-sabotage. Next up, we have adventure. So all of my beautiful babies of the zodiac in adventure, I can see that a divine message for you is to dare to do things differently, to manifest your travel dreams, and to move to a new location. So if you have been debating whether you are able to move out, live on your own, or just move to a completely new place of the country, a completely new country in general, I do want you to know here in adventure that the only thing that you're really going to regret and grieve over or feel loss about is if you don't do it. It's just all of the things that you postponed or that you felt too afraid to do. I can definitely see here in adventure that it's time for you to do things differently. It's time for you to manifest your travel dreams as well, especially since traveling has been a little bit of a difficult topic for all of us in the past 2 years. I can definitely see here in adventure that it's about time that you try to make your travel dreams a reality and somehow bring them to fruition. Whether that's taking a safe trip that's just like a road trip type of thing, whether that is booking a flight and knowing that you can cancel or move it at any time, but still just getting the ball rolling on traveling and moving around safely, of course, group number 1. Next up, we have possibility. So in possibility, I can see a divine message for you is to raise your standards, elevate your expectations. You have unlimited potential. That's the message here, the divine message for you, to not feel like lowering your standards just because other people would do that or other people have told you that your standards are too high or too unrealistic. That is a reflection of how they feel about their standards, and maybe they've lowered their standards because they ended up giving up on their dreams or their aspirations, but that doesn't need to be you. Group number 1, keep your possibilities open. I think when we get hurt or we get rejected, a lot of us start lowering our standards subconsciously, which is maybe why the divine message showed up for you to raise your standards, elevate those expectations of yours, and keep your standards high. Keep your awareness with you having unlimited potential. Never allow that to crumble or to feel like you've been walked all over. Next up, we have the club. So in the club, we definitely have confirmation that someone will try to make you do something against your will. And in conjunction to what we were literally just talking about here in the possibility card, it becomes evident, group number 1, that someone is going to make you feel like you should lower your standards, even though deep down you know it's wrong, you know you shouldn't be doing it. It's going to feel wrong all along. I can definitely see here in the club that some people may really try to like pressure you into doing that, to make you do something that you don't want to do. But I do see here within the beetle that again we have opposing forces in your reading. We have duality. The High Priestess corresponds to the number 2, which stands for this duality. And I do want you to know here in the beetle that on one hand we have lowering your standards and that causing a great deal of disappointment in yourself. And on the other hand, we have the choice of making sure that you adventure, that you believe in the unlimited possibilities that you have, that you don't listen to anyone else's projections that they're trying to lay onto you, and the amazing good fortune that comes with that. That's one thing that the beetle stands for. This is a really awesome card to receive within your reading. Leave a beetle emoji down below in the comment section to manifest that, to let me and others know that you're here, that you're receiving this divine message, and that you understand what it's all about. Next, we have the dragon. So in the dragon, be aware of self-delusion, be aware of self-deprecating thoughts, become aware of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is a real thing. I feel like a lot of us fail to reach our highest potential because we engage in negative self-talk, or we have a negative image of ourselves, which is exactly why we're going to kind of up that right now. We're going to throw some of those negative self-beliefs out the window, group number 1, because I want you to leave this video feeling empowered, feeling strong, and knowing your worth. We have I am trustful in my relationships. So trust that the people who matter are going to want to uplift you. Trust in the good in people. Allow for yourself to not lose trust, hope, or faith in humanity just because some people are telling you to lower your standards. Do know here that giving people the benefit of the doubt is a good thing either way. I know it can be hard if you give someone the benefit of the doubt and they kind of use you or abuse that, which in that situation, I would not recommend to continue giving them the benefit of the doubt, but be happy that they showed their true colors, and now you can make a more discerning choice moving forward. And another side of giving people the benefit of the doubt is, of course, being positively surprised. So on one end, you're either going to know what their true colors or shadows are, and then on the other hand, you can also get to know just how awesome of a person that they really are, and how much that you potentially would have underestimated them without giving them the benefit of the doubt. Next up, we have I invoke laughter. So we're here to hype you up. Group number 1, we're here to give you confidence, to make you remind yourself of how fun that you are, of how lighthearted and bubbly that you can be, and how much people do love to have you around, how much people do like to have your presence and your energy within their aura. I can see here, and I do the best that I can, that a thing that you need to be reminded of, a divine message that's here for you, is to remind yourself that if you've done the best that you can, if in your hearts of heart you can say, yes, I did everything that I could, I tried my hardest, I put in all of the work that I possibly could without jeopardizing my mental health, that's the best that you could do, and that's something to be proud of. Don't diminish or nitpick whether the best that you can do was good enough. If that's the best that you could do and you wholeheartedly tried your best in a situation or in a work project, then be happy with it and don't try to find ways to push yourself to an unhealthy boundary. Next, we have I speak positively of others. Do know here that speaking positively of others is something that will again cause a good fortune. We have another beetle here on this card, so beetles are definitely an amazing sign for you, especially green ones like you left down below in the comment section, hopefully group number 1. So I do want you to know here that speaking positively of others is going to elevate your karma, is definitely going to create amazing karma for you, and will allow you to be unbothered about what others say of you, because there's no retaliation. You're just being the bigger person, you're being the more mature person, minding your own own business and creating amazing karma for yourself, regardless of what anyone else says. Never lower your standards or lower yourself to standards of gossiping about others just because that is what some people choose to do. It's not worth it. Speaking positively of others just shows what type of person that you are, that you're a person who has a strong sense of integrity and a moral compass that speaks highly of them. Next, we have polarity. So in polarity, I can see here that integrating your shadow side is an important thing for you to do, group number 1. There can be no light without dark. Keep that in mind and understand the law of polarity. The law of polarity definitely speaks of there being, again, two polar opposites, two sides. We've been talking about this duality throughout your reading, group number 1. It's definitely a divine message that you need to be aware of, and also be aware of the fact that seeing the number 222 may be a reoccurring symbol for you within the next days and weeks that is trying to tell you to integrate both sides, to integrate your shadow side as well as your light side. So understanding when to integrate both and also when to separate. As mentioned earlier, when to separate yourself from someone who has showed you their dark side, and also when you can integrate your dark side into a situation. It's a very fine line, but at the same time, it is one that you are meant to get to know so that you can move through life feeling like you're in charge and feeling like you know exactly how to deal with difficult situations because you have learned how to navigate the line of either integration or separation. Next up, we have partnership. So group number 1 in partnership, I can see that teamwork will give you the best result. Find trustworthy people to partner with, build up a talented support team. You can't do it all on your own, especially if you are, for example, a business owner or you work in a corporation with lots of other people, whether you're studying or just overall figuring out what you want to do with life, period. Group number 1, I do want you to know here that bringing other people into a project, bringing other people into the picture is a very helpful thing for you to do and is something that will elevate your life overall and also take a lot of pressure off of you and your workload. So don't frown upon partnership. Of course, there will be partnerships that don't work out, but the invaluable experience of working with someone who you just vibe with, gel with, understand to the core, that is something that is irreplaceable and that you don't want to miss out on. Then we have the Hierophant. So in the Hierophant, I can see for you, group number 1, that a divine message you are meant to hear is to not be too caught up in tradition or religion or anything that society or your community is trying to push onto you. Sadly, tradition and religion is often weaponized, is often used as something to shame people or to keep people in the system, to keep people in a community or system that doesn't work for them, which can make it exceedingly difficult to break out of that and to find a healthier alternative that simply works for you. And one thing that a lot of us need to become aware of is that the traditional system of going to school, college, university, whatever, then, moving up the job ladder, doing a 9 to 5, whatever the norm or the standard may be in your community and society, it doesn't work for everybody. We are not copy-paste machines. We are human beings with individual needs, and it's important that you put your needs, your feelings, and your intuition first, rather than just blindly believing or feeling forced into what tradition, religion, or your society is telling you to do. Again, we keep coming back to the club, someone trying to make you do something against your will, which is what you're being called to defend yourself against. Group number 1, this is the divine message that you are meant to receive. Your guides and your angels are looking out for you, trying to protect you from anyone making you do something against your will, whether you notice it or not. Become aware of it and ensure that you are protecting your shine, your integrity, and your beautiful light. So group 1, this is the first part of your reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it insightful. Now, in order to receive the second part of your reading of your divine messages, make sure that you scroll down into the description box and click your birth time in order to move on to the second part of your prediction. So I'll catch you over there. Hello group number 2 and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Gentle Heart Tarot deck in conjunction to the Carnelian. So this is the beautiful crystal that you chose. The Carnelian is a very powerful stone. It helps with manifestation as well as upping the passion in your relationships. But let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what divine messages that are meant for you and are present here today. The Gentle Heart Tarot deck is actually the deck that I authored. I'll leave the link down below in the description box for you to check out, but let's get into it. First up, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So group number 2, in the Wheel of Fortune, I see that a divine message that is here for you is to be reminded of the fact that ups and downs are normal and to not feel embarrassed or to not be hard on yourself during a down. So this means that if things aren't going to plan or if you feel as though just overall life is in a little bit of just a meh mode, don't feel as though this is something negative, because without experiencing suffering, darkness, or difficult times, you would never know what happiness, laughter, or love is all about. Keep that in mind. The moments that are difficult are just as valuable as the ones that are easy. Next up, we have the Emperor. So a divine message that I have for you here within the Emperor is to be reminded of the fact that your outlook on life, as well as life's difficult and challenging situations, that is up to you. It is in your personal power whether you see quote-unquote difficult situations as something to be sad about, as something to be annoyed about, or whether you see it as an opportunity for growth. I always like to think of situations that are difficult or people who really get on my nerves as actually my biggest teachers, because if it wasn't for them, I would never see this part of myself that I'm able to work on. I would feel as though everything is just fine and dandy, and I would never truly know what difficulties or challenges still lie out there that I have yet to conquer. And quite frankly speaking, things may become very bland and dull if everything feels, tastes, and is the same way. Happiness will all of a sudden turn into indifference. Next up, we have the Seven of Cups. So group 2, in the Seven of Cups, you have a choice. You can choose to be emotionally volatile, or you can choose to take the bull by the horns, so to say, and lead your life into a spot where you take everything as a lesson, you take everything as an opportunity for you to grow. As the Emperor card states, this is a time for you to build a more stable internal emotional life where you don't have to rely on just other people and how they react, how they speak to you, and their kindness. You can be 100% reliant on the fact that you have your inner world under control and you know yourself. Next, we have the Three of Swords. So a divine message that is present for you, group number 2, is to look out for heartache, to look out for pain that is coming. I can see here in the Ace of Crystals that you may feel as though it is really hard for you to start something new. That's one thing that I can see here in conjunction to the Three of Swords. And as you all know by now, I am a very honest tarot reader. I'm not just going to tell people what they want to hear or put like an extra positive spin on everything. I give it to you exactly how I see it. So I can definitely see here in the Ace of Crystals in conjunction to the Three of Swords that there is this feeling of embarrassment when starting something new or starting small. This fear and this feeling that is heavy, that is difficult to deal with, that makes you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be trying this, maybe I shouldn't be putting myself out there. Whether that is you trying something new and artsy, or you trying out a new business or breaking out on your own, I can definitely see here in conjunction to the Ace of Crystals that something that you actually feel really passionate about can be clouded by your own feelings and emotions of embarrassment, of not wanting to be seen starting out small. But I'm here to hype you up, group number 2. I'm here to remind you of the fact that it's the same for all of us. We've all started somewhere. I started somewhere as well, and it was embarrassing to upload, that first photo or that first video, knowing that it's probably not going to be watched by many people, or that I maybe still have a lot of growth to do, and I'm still there. And it's important for you to keep in mind here that, again, this is a question of perspective and perception, and starting out with something and being bad at it at first. Trust me, I started off with readings being very bad at it as well at one point. This is something normal. We all go through it. And I think it's important to normalize that, and for more people to admit that they started off as beginners. It was embarrassing. They weren't good at it, but there is always room for growth. There is always room to overcome that, and it's not something to feel embarrassed about. So I'm first to admit that, group number 2, to help you be reminded of the fact that we all go there. We all go through it. I can see here in I Embrace the All, you are being called to embrace all of these situations, okay? Whether they seem embarrassing, whether it seems like you shouldn't be trying something new that you're not good at, because somehow when we're adults, it becomes less and less normal to start something new or pick up a new hobby. I do want you to just embrace all the in-betweens, the difficult times, and the things that you quite frankly just need a lot more practice at. Next up, we have I Follow My Inner Guidance. So this is a divine message in conjunction to you starting new things, to follow your inner guidance, to be unafraid to listen to it, and to let it guide you to something that may completely change your life. Keep in mind here, if I, for example, would have never tried something new, working with crystals, tarot, and oracle cards, I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't know what it's like to experience such an amazing life where I get to do something that I love day in and day out. And you can do the same for yourself, group number 2. Next, we have I Do the Best I Can. As long as you put your best foot forward, as long as you do the best that you possibly can, group number 2, there is no reason to feel any sense of embarrassment or to feel any sense of not being good enough. Know that the best that you can is so worthy and is so valid. And last but not least, I can see here, and I praise the goddess and the god, that praising your higher power, the unseen realm, whether that is religious, whether that is not religious, whether that is you just believing in crystal powers, the universe, energetic frequencies. I want you to know here within, I praise the goddess and the god, that just giving thanks to the unseen realm and everything that is yet to be explained, from, how the universe works to how thoughts arise. I mean, science still has not uncovered or debunked how a thought forms, how a string of words comes together as a thought, how you can predict what a human is going to think next. It is all still the unseen, the unknown. We're still figuring out whether there's even an answer to that we can understand as human beings. So give thanks to the unseen and the fact that within the unseen lies unlimited possibility and lies so much that we have yet to discover that could be positive for us, that could be life-changing in the best possible way. Next up, we have the wedge. So group 2, in the wedge, I can see that someone may be trying to come between you and a friend or something that you want. And that is one thing that I definitely feel you need to hear as a warning sign, to be very careful around people who you have a weird gut feeling about, who you feel aren't here to see you win, who you feel aren't truly here to see you thrive, and instead kind of want your place, okay? They kind of want what you have. And if they can't have what you have, they don't want you to have what you have either. So that is what I can see here in the wedge that you're being called to look out for. Next up, we have the arrow. You're on the right path, group 2. If there is a person that you're thinking of right now and you feel as though, I have this sense of who this may be, you're on the right path regarding this aspect. You're on the right path regarding this gut gut feeling. Know that energy doesn't lie, group number 3, and it's important for you to take your gut feeling and your intuition seriously. If you agree with that, leave a little snake emoji down below in the comment section because you see them clearly. Group number 2, you don't need snakes to reveal themselves to you. You know that they're there. Next up, we have the bird, but perched. So the perched bird stands for you waiting for news, a package, or a letter. So I can definitely see here that that's going to give you some new insight and a great idea moving forward for hobbies and businesses that you would like to start fresh on. And I can see here in the moon that there are some changes in your life that are coming, and they will be announced through some piece of information, through some form of news that you're receiving, or a letter in the mail that is going to announce to you the changes that are coming into your life. Let's move a little further into your reading, group number 2, to figure out what other divine messages we have for you. I can see here within the healer that you have powerful healing gifts, group number 2, and having faith in your abilities is something that is so essential for you right now. Stay true to your path as a healer. Try not to doubt your healing abilities, especially if you actually do work like in the health field, especially if you are like a nurse or a doctor, if you're a chiropractor, a massage therapist, a sports therapist, a coach. I want you to know here in healer that doubting yourself is something that truly does affect your healing work and makes it less effective, because self-doubt, of course, gives this kind of energy and vibration of truthfulness being something that is lacking, or like your ability is lacking, right? Thinking to yourself, judging yourself for not being perfect, judging your abilities and thinking of yourself as someone who maybe isn't that good at healing, or maybe you don't have that much experience. Again, we're coming back to this place of self-doubt that isn't necessary and that is just holding you back. Everyone started somewhere. The people who you look up to, they began as novices. They were once students, and they had to overcome the exact same doubts that you're going through right now, group number 2. I can see here within intention that being clear and decisive is a very important thing for you to do, especially when moving forward and manifesting your dream life. I did a whole video on manifestation. That was actually the last video that I did. I'll link it down below in the description box, where I explain how important it is for you to be clear on your intentions and to focus on what you really want, not your doubts, not the things that you don't want, as we spoke about here within the healer. Focus on all of the things that you are good at. Focus on the aspects of your abilities that you are confident in, rather than giving doubts any more power. Next, we have past lives. So group 2, in past lives, releasing your past life karma, that is what you have to do right now. That is a divine message that is here and ready for you to receive. You are an old soul with deep wisdom, and healing your past lives will raise your vibration. This lifetime, this reincarnation of yours, if you believe in past lives, reincarnation, and the fact that energy can never be destroyed, so somehow even past death, right, that energy is somewhere and it is being turned into something new, whether it's soil that then gives a plant the nutrients to grow and then becomes a part of the plant. Is like, even if someone is physically decayed and perished, that energy still somehow is transpired into the next thing. It can take hundreds of thousands of years for it to cycle and turn into something else, but nevertheless, things continue to move on, evolve, and to shift energetically. So that is where I can see in past lives that right now, this body that you're in, this existence, this consciousness that you possess is one where you're able to let go of past life karma. This is a very intelligent version of yourself, a version that is deeply connected to source, where you're able to let go of anything that's been holding you back for lives and lives and lives. Next up, we have passion. So last but not least, in passion, I can see here that all of your past life karma is definitely something that has resulted in a version of yourself that can get fired up about life and can increase all of their energy levels in every sense of the way. So doing what excites you is what really gives you like the drive and the passion to keep pushing forward, and doing what excites you is also what gives you that extra boost of confidence to not overthink or feel as though you are lacking in any sense of the way, because you are not lacking, group number 2, you are whole, but it is important for you to believe that yourself. So group 2, this is the first part of your reading that I received. Now do make sure that you scroll down into the description box and click the birth time that corresponds to you in order to receive the second and even more personalized, accurate part of your reading. Don't forget to leave a flame emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it to the end, and I'll catch you over during part 2 of your reading. Hello group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Spirit Animal Oracle deck in conjunction to the Black Obsidian. So let's do a quick close-up of the stone of your choice. This is the Black Obsidian. This is a absolutely gorgeous stone and that helps you get rid of any type of negative vibrations. But let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what divine messages were meant for you. First up, we have the Hawk Spirit. So in the Hawk Spirit, you're being called by your spirit animal to let spirit be your guide, to allow for synchronicities as well as your intuition to guide you to where you need to go next. In the Koi Fish Spirit, I can see that any type of worry about there not being enough is something that you can overcome if you just allow for yourself to move forward, not thinking about whether there is enough abundance, enough love in this world, enough of what you want for you to possess it, just knowing that there is always enough, and knowing that if your thoughts and your intentions are in the right spot, know that your guides are going to bring you to where you need to go next. They're going to let you experience all of the things that you hope to experience in this lifetime, because there is enough to go around for all of us. Next up, we have the Porcupine Spirit. So in the Porcupine Spirit, group number 3, know here that a divine message for you is that it's time for a beginner mind. So it's time for you to forget about everything you thought that you knew, to forget about everything that you were told, and to just make brand new experiences and memories based off of what feels right now, and based off of all of the bounty that you have coming towards you here in the Koi Fish Spirit. The Koi Fish Spirit is definitely a spirit that speaks of abundance in every sense of the realm, earthly abundance as well. And in conjunction to the Hawk Spirit, group 3, I do see here that just allowing for your intuition and your guides to lead you to the abundance that's meant to be yours is the best thing you can do, because in the Porcupine Spirit, I do see that overthinking is something that you frequently suffer from or frequently holds you back. Next up, we have the Sandalwood Spirit. So the easiest and best cure to this is honestly just to be playful, as the Sandalwood Spirit suggests. Not to hold yourself to a standard that is so high that you know it's just going to stress you out, or you know it's just going to cause more anxiety or pain than it's worth. And also to remind yourself that you set the bar, you set the standard. You're most likely the only person who is so hard on yourself in your entire life. I mean, maybe you have some narcissistic parents, siblings, or friends who are hard on you, but I think you understand exactly what I mean and your guides mean when they say that you can be your own biggest critic. So be playful, have fun, and don't take things so seriously. Know that when you adopt a beginner mind and you kind of forget about every rule that you've been told or that you have been told you should follow, that things may go wrong or things may turn out in a very clumsy, funny way, and to just laugh at it. Life isn't as serious as many people try to get us to believe. Next up, we have the Two of Cups. So a divine message that I see here for you, group number 3, is that romantic love is something to be more playful with for you as well. So to have fun when you're intimate with other people, to have fun when you're enjoying some romantic time, and also just to have fun dating if that is something that you're still doing or that you ever have to do again. Okay, there is always enough love. There always will be enough love within our world for you to be with a twin flame, a lover, and a soulmate. So don't doubt that. Just have fun and give people a chance. That is one thing that I can see here in the porcupine spirit. Next, we have the Three of Crystals. And the Three of Crystals, I can see here that making choices is important for you to do along the way. And in order to not feel so anxious when you're confronted with a choice, whether you take plan A or plan B, whether you take a promotion and stay in a job that you don't like or try something different altogether, I want you to know in the Three of Crystals, as well as the Sandalwood spirit, that reminding yourself that nothing is permanent, everything can be changed, can be reinvented, and will eventually change or perish. That is something that can really give you kind of like the hope that you need to know that making a decision doesn't have to be detrimental. Whether it's in your career or your personal life, just because you make a choice doesn't mean that it has to be that way forever, especially if the choice that you make ends up not feeling like it was the right choice for you anyways. Next, we have the Ten of Swords. So in the Ten of Swords, I can definitely see here overthinking. That's a big thing for you, group number 3. That's a big divine message that you're being called to look at and to ask yourself what purpose overthinking actually serves. Group number 3, let me know down below in the comment section, like, what does overthinking actually do for you? What purpose does it serve other than making your heart beat faster, causing more anxiety, which is obviously not a purpose you want to continue perpetuating within your life. This is, of course, not something that you want to have grow or become the norm. So do know here in the Ten of Swords that you're being called to revamp the way that your inner world works. I can see here within the Five of Diamonds that detaching from the material realm, detaching from any type of difficulty, letting go of objects is something that can help you, because the more secure you feel just with yourself, the clothes that you're wearing on your back, and not needing very many material things, the more freedom you can experience. Because it seems as though society is just designed in a way that we collect so many things, right? A big goal for a lot of people is to own a house, and that is what society traditionally dictates. And in that house, you're able to store all of your many belongings that you've collected. But these belongings don't actually do anything, right? Most things that we own, or a lot of things that we own, don't actually change our lives or don't actually have very much value. If you think about it, we only need the bare essentials, which you could probably fit in like 1 or 2 suitcases, honestly, and live out of for the rest of your life if you had to. So why get so hung up on material possessions that don't really make that big of a difference anyways, right? That aren't making life easier, but are actually just causing more anxiety and more of a feeling of being attached to those things. Like, oh, I can't move because where am I going to put all my things? Or I can't travel because, oh, my things are holding me back. All of these things keeping you rooted in a very earthly place is definitely not serving you or your playfulness. But I can see here within the Ten of Cups, group number 3, that a divine message for you to receive in conjunction to the Two of Cups is that being with the right romantic partner will let you feel like you don't need any stuff anymore. You don't need any material things. You're happy with yourself and your relationship to the point where things are like a nice bonus, but they don't define define you. They don't define where you're going, who you are, or what your values are in life. So it doesn't matter whether you can afford the nicest car, house, or piece of clothing, shoes, bag, but what matters to you is what's on the inside. So of course, if you can't afford it, you'll have it if you need it, right? There are certain things that we need, for example, shoes. So of course, if you can buy a nice pair of shoes, you will, but you know that it doesn't define you. Next up, we have the dog close up. So I can definitely see here that this friend, twin flame, soulmate is someone who gives you a lot of pleasure, is someone who lets you feel romantically loved, seen, and accepted. And furthermore, I can see here in the carrot that there is an opportunity or windfall when it comes to love that's nearing for you, group number 3. So even if you're in a relationship right now, you may fall in love with another person or just develop a romantic interest in another person. And this is something that I want you to look out for, and it's not something to be ashamed of, but you may want to keep that to yourself if you are in a committed relationship, in order to first figure out your feelings before you say anything that may cause lasting harm in your current relationship. Next up, we have the flowers. So group 3 in the flowers, I can see happiness for you. I can see overall possibility, feeling content, and understanding that the less you're rooted in wanting more and more gadgets or things or just overall material possessions to make you look a certain way, the happier that you become. I can see here in the cat that there is a two-faced friend here, group number 3. And you are being called to look out for that. And a two-faced friend is a friend who is very addicted to material possessions, who always feels like it's everyone else's fault why they aren't successful. It's everyone else's fault why they don't have the things that they desire. And they are the person who keeps luring you into this never-ending kind of search for more material things, for more status, for overall just this greediness. Okay, so you want to stay away from that type of energy and that type of friendship because it doesn't serve you in any way, shape, or form. But let's move further into your reading. Next, we have a partnership. So I can see here that teamwork with this person romantically, who is an amazing influence on you, group number 3, is what will give you the better result than having friends, platonic friends, okay, friendships that aren't based on love or sensual attraction. I do see here that focusing on a committed partnership right now is the best place for you to put your energy into, and also just overall finding people who are trustworthy rather than trying to reconform or just conform someone who isn't trustworthy into a trustworthy person. If they aren't trustworthy, you can't decide to make them trustworthy. You can't make them a better friend unless they want to change their entire approach. Next up, we have intention. So group 3 in intention, I can see a divine message that's here for you is to be clear and to be decisive, to focus on what you truly want out of friendships and out of life. And I do want you to know here within the flowers that happiness is something that is very easy to attain, that has nothing to do with material possessions. And the divine guidance that's being displayed for you, group 3, is to focus on happiness at the core, not happiness in conjunction to owning things or having a certain status, but happiness in its purest form, real happiness, not temporary happiness. So if this is something that you understand and agree with, and you're still with me, leave a little flower emoji down below in the comments section, group number 3, to let me and others know. So let's move a little further into your reading. Next up, we have gentleness. So being kind to yourself and others, honoring your gentleness, speaking words of love. I can definitely see here, group number 3, that this is something that you're being pushed and called to do. This is a divine message that you should receive. And last but not least, we have a balance. In balance, I can see taking time to relax, indulging a little more or less setting boundaries with your work. Creating balance is a divine message that you had to receive right now, group number 3, especially if you feel like you've been burning the candle at both ends or at 3 ends, even though you thought it was impossible, like somehow you find a way to pile even more on your plate and to have even less balance within your life. Look into that, group 3, before it's too late. Indulge in some things, okay? Treat yourself to a nice new tarot deck, to some nice new crystals, to a nice meal out with an amazing partner that we spoke about here within partnership. Go on a date, allow yourself to wine and dine an existing partner, and create balance in your life, because you're not all work. Life is here for you to enjoy. Don't forget that, especially in a society that pushes a lot of toxic work culture on us. So group 3, these are the divine messages that you're meant to receive. I really hope that you enjoyed them and that you found them insightful. Make sure that you head down into the description box and click your birth time in order to receive the second and even more personalized part of the divine messages that are present for you. Group 3, thank you so much for spending this divine time with me, and I'll catch you over during part 2 of your reading. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading about the divine messages that you need to hear. So you chose the Cognac Calcite in conjunction to the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle deck. Let me show you a close-up of the crystal that you chose. This is what the Cognac Calcite looks like. It is an absolutely stunning cognac colored stone. Let's move straight into it so we can figure out what divine messages were meant for you. So first and foremost, this is the feather that you felt drawn towards. You may or may not recognize this, but this feather belongs to the peacock. So here in the peacock, I can definitely see that inherent wisdom is emerging at this time. Watch it and ready yourself for a rebirth. So a divine message that you are meant to receive is to stay ready, stay put, because right now a lot of information is being uncovered for you. A lot of information is emerging that will help you with your rebirth. Next, we have this beautiful feather, which belongs to the pheasant. So in the pheasant, I can see that the time is ripe for creation and connection. Focus your attention in these areas, group number 4. A divine message for you is to pay close attention to creating and connecting with other people, but also connecting when it comes to source, when it comes to the universe, the divine, through creation. Now, adding another feather, we have the goose, and the goose says the following: your dreams and desires are calling you to action. The journey begins today. So group number 4, do know here that this journey to rebirth and the next part of your path, it begins today, not tomorrow, not in a week. We are beginning the process today of your rebirth and of this new sense of creation as well as connection. So focus your attention on creating, focus your attention on connecting the dots. Next up, we have the Ace of Crystals reversed. So group number 4, in the Ace of Crystals reversed, we receive a divine message for you about taking enough time to create when it comes to projects, especially anything that's artsy or anything that you feel you can put a lot of time, effort, and passion into. So try not to rush anything, especially if it is a project that you're doing by hand, or it's something that you're spending a lot of time writing and piecing your words together very carefully, such as writing a thesis or writing a project that other people are going to read and benefit from. Take as much time as you need. I can see here within the 3 of Cups that taking breaks in between, this is another divine message that you need to receive. Taking breaks in between work and spending those breaks with friends friends and family to just take some time to decompress and have fun and think about things that are completely unrelated to work. That is what I see here as very important and as a piece of information that you need to hear. In the Hermit, I can see that spending too much time alone is just not it for you right now, group number 4. That yes, of course, there is a lot that you can only do by yourself, such as meditation, such as working on yourself, self-development, and so on, is best done when you have a little bit of privacy. But I can definitely see here, in conjunction to the Ace of Crystals reversed as well as the Three of Cups, that coming out of hermit mode, coming out of like a very introverted state for you, group number 4, that is most likely the healthiest thing that you can do for yourself and a divine message that you must receive. I can see here within the Queen of Diamonds that focusing on your creative ventures will definitely create more stability and more confidence in your career, more confidence in the life that you're able to establish for yourself, because you're not going to feel so much doubt about your abilities and whether you are able to be successful in your career. I can see here within the Five of Diamonds that frequently overthinking about money matters, how you're going to pay your bills, or finally be able to pay for the life that you know you desire, is something that is fleeting, is something that you can completely forget about again when you're spending time with friends and people who you care about and who can take your mind off of difficult financial situations. Also, definitely have faith in the fact that just because you were born into a certain financial situation or into a certain social class doesn't mean that you have to stay there. Group number 4, people pave their way up and down society all the time, and it is honestly for you to choose what direction you want to move into, because it is possible, okay? You are your own person. Your parents were their own people. Don't make their karma, their beliefs, and their money mindset your own, especially if it doesn't serve you. Develop your own way of living and existing. Let's move further into your reading to figure out what other divine messages that you're meant to hear. We have the Five of Wands. So in the Five of Wands, I can definitely see here some competition and maybe even conflict at your career, and you're definitely meant to keep that to yourself, okay? To not let anything burst, so to say, to not have any emotional kind of outbursts at work. That is like the worst thing you can do for yourself right now. As I can see here within the Knight of Cups, that is literally just what someone is like waiting for, okay? They're just like keeping an eye on how you're reacting, what you're doing every time you're being put in an uncomfortable position. And I can definitely see here that the King of Cups has great advice if the emotional outburst does come, especially work related or maybe even studies related. But at the same time, I can see in the King of Cups that person may kind of pass you up for a promotion. So yes, while people are compassionate about what you're going through, especially if at work or at school you're being mistreated or bullied, they will understand. But at the same time, that will subconsciously kind of affect how capable that they think that you are. So people may say that they understand and they get you and they feel for you, but at the same time you won't be considered for the promotion or the better grade or to be the leader on the upcoming project, because subconsciously they'll still think that maybe you're too emotionally volatile. So it's very important that right now, group number 4, you keep what you're going through professionally to yourself. Only share with close friends and family who will not affect your professional life. Next up, we have the Tower. So group 4, in the Tower, I can see here that, as already mentioned, it's important for you to keep certain things here to yourself. I see that in conjunction to the Hermit. Otherwise, there may be destruction. There may be this situation that feels like a disaster because you're asking yourself why you opened up to the wrong people, because it, in the end, kind of affected your professional life more than it needed to, all because you trusted in other people. Next up, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So in the Seven of Pentacles, I can see patience, persistence, as well as diligence being an important divine message that is meant for you, as well as here in the Ten of Pentacles, feeling comfort, okay? Feeling as though things are where they need to be for you in the earthly realms. Right now, the best thing for you to focus on is your security financially, not making any risky moves. Yes, definitely being creative and all of that, but not risking your current job position. I can also see in the Ten of Pentacles that there may be some form of inheritance or extra money that you're getting from someone sooner rather than later. In the King of Wands, I can see a authoritative figure, someone who is strong in their leadership abilities, and I can see a divine message for you, Group 4, is to consider this King of Wands as someone who you can build a family with, okay? Someone where with a lot of patience and persistence, you can build a long-lasting relationship. I see that in conjunction to the Three of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, and of course the King of Wands. So romantically speaking, this fire sign energy, and by that I mean Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries energy, is one that is serving you right now, and it is a divine message that you have to receive just so you can get some clarity on your love life. Let's see what else we have for you, Group number 4. So we have intuition. Group 4, in intuition, I see that a divine message is for you to listen to the whispers of your heart, use divination tools to help you decide, which you're doing right now, and trusting your intuition and no matter what. So if you've ever been in a situation, Group 4, where you've thought to yourself, I wish I would have just listened to my gut feeling, know that in order to avoid that, it's simple. Just listen to your gut feeling, Group number 4. Stop ignoring it. Stop asking yourself whether it is valid or not. There's a reason why intuition and gut feeling exists. We may not have all of the answers, scientifically speaking, just yet, because it is still a mystery to us, but there's a reason why it's there and why nature created instinct. Next up, we have freedom. In freedom, I can see that living wild and free, choosing your freedom, claiming your independence, these are all important things for you to do, Group number 4, and to not feel ashamed of that, to not feel ashamed to live your freedom, and to also exert your freedom of choice, to say whatever you want to say, to do what you want to do with your body and your existence. You don't exist to follow rules, you exist to thrive and to enjoy your life. Don't feel as though you exist just to adhere to society's standards and expectations, because when you take your last breath, society isn't going to be there thanking you for making yourself small or dimming your light. But guess what is going to be there? Your consciousness, and you want to know that you have lived life to its fullest extent. Next up, we have compassion. So Group 4, in compassion, I can see that being gentle with yourself is something that you should focus on, as well as forgiveness. Know that forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It is something that you allow yourself to have that will set you free. It doesn't mean that you are condoning anyone's behavior. It doesn't mean that you're letting anyone off the hook who has treated you in an unfair or mean manner. It simply means that you're seeing the light in yourself and that you're choosing to not live in a state of anger, grief, or friction just to hold on to negative emotion, because it doesn't serve anyone, nor does it change anything that has been done to you. Next up, we have nature. So Group 4, in nature, grounding yourself, finding a sanctuary in nature, those are all important factors for you to consider and divine messages for you to receive, as well as connecting with the elementals. Go out during some rainfall, go out during the heat, during a little bit of stormy weather, as long as it's safe, of course, Group number 4. but just experience nature, the elementals, the different types of weather, as well as different types of temperatures that we have that we can enjoy. Life would just be so monotonous if every day the sun was shining and it was like the exact same temperature. Group number 4, enjoy the fact that life is ever changing and that life keeps things interesting, especially when you can prep for, rainy weather or cold weather. Just dress in a way that you're protected from the weather, but you can still get out there and experience it. Then last but not least, we have partnership. So group 4, a divine message that you need to receive that was meant for you is that teamwork will give you a better result. So if you've been thinking of doing everything yourself, or you've always felt like if you want something done right, you'll just do it yourself, know here that it's all about finding trustworthy people to partner with. It's all about building up a talented support team, and that can take time, group number 4, and you're going to have to look for the right people. This is something that I've been through while, for example, creating my own tarot deck here. I didn't create all the illustrations. I came up with the idea, the text, I authored it, but all these beautiful illustrations, I had to find my beautiful designer Anna to help me bring this to fruition. And it took time, it took some experimenting. All of these things are things that you shouldn't rush, but also understand that it is possible to find the right people. So group 4, leave a peacock emoji down below in the comment section if you made it to the end of the first part of your reading. And now what you get to do is scroll down into the description box and click your birth time in order to be fast forwarded to the second part of your prediction. So I'll catch you over there. Hello, all my beautiful babies of the zodiac born between 12 a.m. at midnight and 6 a.m. in the morning. There's just something so magical about your birth time, and I want to figure out exactly what divine messages that were meant for you and your birth time. So let's get straight into it. First up, we have the 6 of Wands. So in the 6 of Wands, I can definitely see that you are meant to know that you have more people standing behind you and supporting you than you ever expected. So going through difficult or rough patches in your life may leave you feeling as though you're not sure whether you have anyone who you can count on. It may leave you feeling alone or like you don't have anyone who would fight for you. But I see that when it really comes down to showing care and showing that someone is there for you, you have people who are here to support you. Next up, we have the Canary Spirit. One thing that I can see can cause a lot of anxiety is because you are so enmeshed in singing your own song and doing your own thing that you can forget to even ask for help. But I can see that if you really need to, you can mobilize a whole village of people to help you out. Next, we have the Owl Spirit. So in the Owl Spirit, I can see that the best way for you to realize that this is a possibility that you have is to simply look around yourself and pay some conscious attention to your best friends and your family members who are there cheering you on, who you can send a message to during any time of the day or night, and you know that they will respond. It's important for you to not just go off on this thought tangent of feeling like it is you against the world and like you have to do everything yourself, but to sometimes just take a little moment to reflect on what the truth actually is. Next up, we have the Cat Spirit. So all of my beautiful morning hour birth times, I want you to know here in the Cat Spirit that claiming your independence is something that comes naturally to you. And a divine message that's meant for you is to understand that just because you have people who would help you and you have people who care about you and you sometimes are wanting to lean on people doesn't mean that you're not independent, okay? You don't have to do everything yourself in order to prove that you are an independent person. Even the most independent of people need help or a shoulder to lean on or cry on every now and then, and that can include you. Next up, we have the broom. So in the broom, I can see here a new home, a new attitude, cleaning your home, getting rid of things that hold stale energy. Also understanding that you being born between 12 a.m. midnight and 6 a.m. in the morning may be the reason why you have this attitude of doing things by yourself. It's a very peaceful time of the day, but at the same time, it's can also feel like a very lonely time of the day, which is maybe why you're so fiercely independent and self-reliant. So do know here in the broom that a message that the divine is trying to give to you is to sweep that old attitude and belief away, not because it's bad, but because we know you can thrive on your own. We know that you're strong, you're independent. You don't always have to show your strength, okay? You don't always have to be strong, because that can wear away at you. What doesn't kill you doesn't always make you stronger. Sometimes it makes you weaker. Next up, we have the quill. So in the quill, I can see here that just getting back to basics, getting back to basic human needs is what you need to hear right now. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should, okay? So just because you can be strong and do everything on your own doesn't mean that you should. Just because you can complete a project alone doesn't mean that you should work yourself to the bone to do that. I can see here within the carrot that there are even more opportunities coming towards you. And if you want to realize those, if you want to take those opportunities, you will have to have some extra time and energy. But how will you have extra time and energy if you always feel like you have to do things yourself, as we spoke about in the cat spirit and the canary spirit? And that is exactly where the owl spirit comes into play. Now you can see clearly. Now through this reading, you can gain some clarity and insight on maybe how your birth time has affected your attitude and what type of adjustment to your attitude and your beliefs could serve you even more than your current ones. Next up, we have I consume only my fair share. So keep in mind here that consuming only what you need is a message that you need to hear, especially if you feel like your eyes can sometimes be bigger than your stomach or the space that you have in your home. I see that in conjunction to the broom, that especially because of certain social media such as Instagram, even YouTube, Facebook, so on, you may feel as though you need more things than you actually do. TikTok is also big on that. This consumerism that's kind of thriving and can make us feel like we have to collect or be so many different things in order to be worthy. But actually, all we really need is just our fair share of basic human needs being met, such as shelter, food, a couple nice things, but not all that much. And that's all that you need in order to thrive. I can see here in I Invoke Laughter that especially during times where maybe self-comparison is something that you suffer from and self-comparison is something that pulls you down energetically, keep things lighthearted, remind yourself of how fun and silly that you can be, and make yourself laugh. Laugh at the fact that you are worried about a concept that has been made up in our heads, that has been made up in our society, meaning that the more someone has, the better that they are, or the higher up someone has made it in the ranks of a company, the more they should earn, or the more worthy that they are of recognition. Isn't that funny? Isn't that absolutely hilarious? Especially because there is no rule book to that. I mean, if your boss doesn't like you, you're not going to get the promotion. Does that mean you're less worthy than the person that your boss does like? No. If anything, that means that the system is broken. The person making the decision, the boss, and how they got there in the first place. Isn't it hilarious that we base a lot of our beliefs and how seriously we take these different forms of hierarchy in our existence, to the point that it makes us feel stressed and sick, and just overall we're in a frantic state because of this. Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that a joke? I know it can be a little bit of like a dark, sad way to joke, but at the same time, you can see it from a very lighthearted place of just laughing about it and reminding yourself, hey, it's not that serious. It's not that deep. I can see here in the Two of Cups that for all of my beautiful night and early morning babies, focusing on the people who are closest to you being really pure and them really appreciating you and making you feel loved, that is where you can truly thrive. So especially romantic partners being people who you can just laugh with and who you can lean on. If you can't lean on a romantic partner, that shows exactly why you feel like you have to be so fiercely independent, because if you've been betrayed in love, or if you have had a parent, a mother or a father who has abandoned you or made you feel abandoned, that may be the exact reason why you feel the need to do everything yourself and be so fiercely independent. Try not to repeat this type of pattern in your romantic relationships. Next up, we have the Hierophant. So in the Hierophant, I can definitely see here that you are an old soul. That may come with your birth time, but it may also be something that just comes with your upbringing. I mean, we already spoke about this abandonment scenario, and that often does produce people who are wise beyond their years, who are old souls, because they have had to fend for themselves for so long, all this time. Next, we have the Knight of Pentacles. In the Knight of Pentacles, do know here that a divine message meant for you is to just be efficient when it comes to your work. Don't do more than you need to. Invest a certain amount of time and hours into your work. Don't overdo it, because your energy is best preserved and used in situations that make you feel really happy and like laughing. In the Ace of Swords, I can see here that clarity, focus, and a breakthrough is what's coming for you. Maybe this reading even already kind of gave you that breakthrough. If it did, leave a little tornado emoji down below in the comment section. That way you can let me and everyone else who is born during your time of the day know that you understood it and that you're having kind of like a little spiritual awakening and epiphany. I see that in conjunction to the Hierophant here. Next up, we have the Four of Wands. So in the Four of Wands, I can see that your guides want you to focus on celebrating and on your home life. We already spoke about that briefly in the Broom, new home, new attitude. So if you're thinking of purchasing a new home, moving into a new home, or just revamping your home, this is the best time for that. And it will also give you a bit of a revamp, of a breath of fresh air in any romantic relationships that are living in that space, or if you even have like a friends with benefits situation or a situationship that's coming to your house, having just revamped your living space or your room. I mean, not everyone has a whole house, but you get what I mean. That is just going to bring great fresh energy into any relationship. Next, we have the Eight of Swords. So in the Eight of Swords, I can definitely see here that some sense of frustration may be something that you're dealing with when it comes to your love life. And again, cleansing your space physically is what can help that. Stop procrastinating, cleaning, or reorganizing. You know that drawer, you know that chair that's full of clothes, that surface that's full of stuff that needs to be decluttered. Like, just do it. It's a quick, easy fix, and it will have a great impact on you. And the Four of Swords, I can see here that a rest, break, restoration, all of that is really the outcome of cleansing your space physically, of reorganizing your space, and is something that should not be taken lightly, because rest and restoration is very important. I can see in the Eight of Wands, last but not least, that what will be the result is excitement, forward movement, as well as speed. Okay, things moving very quickly into a favorable direction, into a direction that you really love, because you were able to overcome procrastination or fear of cleaning up. Sometimes it really does feel like fear, doesn't it? And once you get that space decluttered, your area revamped, new energy can flow in and out of it, which will serve you. So all of my beautiful babies of the zodiac born between 12 a.m. midnight and 6 a.m. in the morning, I hope that you loved this highly personalized approach to a reading. Make sure that you leave a comment down below letting me know how you enjoyed this fresh approach. Know that I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all my beautiful babies of the zodiac born between 6 a.m. in the morning and 12 p.m. at noon. Welcome to your highly personalized reading. I want to get straight into it so we can figure out what other divine messages are present for you specifically. First up, we have the frog spirit. No more excuses. Clean out the clutter, okay? Get rid of anything that you don't need or that's been in the way. If you have been walking around clutter in your home, literally like stepping over things that are on the floor, trying to make a chair comfortable that you have a load of clothes on, like stop doing that. Clean up. That's all that I have to say here in the frog spirit. I'm being very honest, very direct. I hope you can appreciate it, but do know here that that is a divine message that you need to hear. I can see here in the scarab beetle spirit that there is so much energy that could continue to flow if only you got rid of anything that's stopping the flow, the energetic flow of your space. Understand that when you're constantly like stepping over obstacles, walking over things, and it starts to get normal because you start to get used to things just lying around everywhere or having clutter in your home, having areas that are unclean, and all of a sudden, like subconsciously, you're working your way around it, but consciously it's just like become the norm. I want you to know here in the scarab beetle spirit that a divine message meant for you is to understand that in order to unlock magic, you have to make sure that your energetic flow in your home or your living space in your room is in an ideal place where you are able to do your own thing without feeling like you're constricted, without physically having to walk around clutter or reminders of the past, especially if you have things that just don't resonate with who you currently are. It could be clothes, it could also be like furniture or different color patterns that are surrounding you. That all kind of stifles the best version of your current self, and that is all like a memory of the past, an artifact of the past that is not serving you in moving forward. So you must get rid of that. Next up, we have the sanctuary, and the cards are really speaking for themselves. It's speaking of taking time out of the world, spending more time alone, making sure that your sanctuary, your home, your living space feels safe and that you feel like it represents you, that you feel like you can meditate, like it's almost a little retreat, actually being able to pamper yourself in your own space, almost like you're going on a luxury vacation or to a nice hotel. Give yourself that treatment in your home and make sure that your home is up to par as much as you can. I know all of you have different financial situations going on, but still you can do a lot with very little. You can do a lot with what you already have lying around. Next up, we have magic. So we already spoke about magic a little bit here in the scarab beetle spirit and how magic can work through you and your space if you take good care of it and keep it tidy. I also see here in magic that making a wish, believing in miracles, and that magic surrounds you is another way how you can actually make things that you hope for come to fruition. I did just create a video on manifestation, so if you're interested in that, check it out. I'll leave it linked down below in the description box because it is an important step for manifestation, for you to actually believe in your manifestations if you want them to come true. Next, we have polarity. So in polarity, I can see here that integrating your shadow side and understanding that there can't be light without dark is something that will allow you to understand the law of polarity in action. Understanding the law of polarity in action is something that a lot of us miss out on because as soon as we're going through a dark moment, a challenging situation, or just overall something we don't want to be confronted with, it can be easy to not understand that this is polarity, but to just knock it as bad luck or as a situation we are not happy with. I can see here in the 10 of rods that the best thing for you to keep in mind here is that every difficult situation comes to an end. Nothing lasts forever, and that just as much as difficult situations come to an end and it gives you a light at the end of the tunnel, remember to enjoy situations that you love and experiences that you love to the max, because they too will not last forever. So make the most of every moment. I can see here within the Seven of Blades that it is important for you to pay close attention to who you surround yourself with and who comes in and out of your sanctuary, meaning your home. Okay, your home should be treated as a sanctuary. Your home should be treated as a safe space, and anyone who doesn't allow you to feel safe, or anyone who comes to your home and leaves and you're kind of like, oh, I don't really like how they change the energy in my space, you should definitely ensure that you cleanse your space after they have left, and that you ensure that you don't continue to live in that energy. Even if it was like weeks ago that you had someone in your space that you don't vibe with, or that you feel like has drug down the energetic frequency in your space, make sure that you cleanse your space right after you have received the rest of your reading. That is something really important. So promise me that you'll do that. Leave a little unicorn emoji down below in the comment section as a little promise to me and everyone else. But let's move further into your reading, shall we? I've been holding on to this card for a little while. Next we have I embrace the all. So embrace the cleansing. Embrace the fact that yes, there are some people who are going to bring some energy into your space that you don't like, but embrace the fact that there are tools to cleanse. There are ways how you can overcome feelings of adversity. There are ways how you can turn something that was difficult into a positive. Embrace the fact that there is so much different opportunity and so many different things to feel in life and your existence. Next up, we have I praise the goddess and the god. So see yourself as a beautiful, divine being, okay, as this beautiful goddess, God, beautiful unicorn, this ray of light and warmth, someone who is worthy of being praised, someone who is worthy of experiencing love, of experiencing affection, as well as people, giving them the recognition that they deserve, giving them the validation that makes sense. But also keep in mind here that when you wholeheartedly love yourself, when you're wholeheartedly taking care of yourself and you're hyping yourself up, there will always be people who don't agree with that, and to, of course, not become dependent on external validation. I can see here within the tree that we're going to next talk about affairs with your family. Let's see what those affairs are. We have the Tower. So in the Tower, I can see here that your family is built on a solid foundation, which means that, of course, things are going to remain as they are. So if you would like to change things in your family dynamic, this may prove to be a little bit difficult, but at the same time, success is something that comes with effort and is long lasting. So any work that you put into your family is definitely going to take a lot for you to change anything, but when you do reap the rewards are there for a very long time. I can see here within the desk in conjunction to the tree that it's important for you to understand to pay attention to your work no matter what's going on in your family situation, because there's nothing worse than having family drama or feeling like you have sacrificed your professional life just to make a family member happy who is maybe narcissistic or who will never understand how much you gave up for them. Okay, so always make sure that there is a distinct line between your professional life and your family life, and that you put your professional life and the things that make you happy before your family in situations, okay, that they don't just always come first and you always sacrifice. I can see here in the flag that the universe is telling you not to be tempted to lower your standards. Any family member who makes you feel bad for following your passion, or who makes you feel bad for focusing on your work and not on them or what they want from you, don't question your work. Don't question whether you're doing the right thing. Question why they want to take you away from something that is clearly very meaningful and important to you. Then last but not least, we have the caterpillar. In the caterpillar, I can see that things will not always be this way. A change is definitely coming in your family structure. Again, it's not going to be something that happens overnight or that is changed very easily, but nevertheless, change is definitely something that will allow your family dynamic to go from this caterpillar, hopefully into a beautiful butterfly or moth. So all of my beautiful babies of the zodiac born between 6 a.m. as well as 12 p.m. noon, thank you so much for being here and for spending this divine time with me. I hope that you love this personalized, super fresh and fun way to receive your reading. Let me and others know down below what hit home for you. Know that I'm thinking of you and sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all my beautiful souls born between 12 p.m. at noon and 6 p.m. in the evening. Let's figure out exactly what divine messages are meant for you. I'll get straight into your reading so we can get even more information about what you need to know. First up, we have the pig spirit. So in the pig spirit, I can see that your guides want you to use your mind wisely and to ensure that you don't underestimate how intelligent you truly are. Pigs are wildly intelligent animals. They're more intelligent than dogs, and they say that pigs rank on an intelligence scale as high as 3-year-old children, which is pretty impressive. Moving on, we have the koi fish spirit. So in the koi fish spirit, I can see here that a divine message that you're meant to hear and receive is that there's always enough. You are smart enough to have the things that you want in your life. You're smart enough to create them, smart enough to propel them to you, and there are enough resources available for you to benefit from in your life. That's one thing that the koi fish spirit stands for. So if you have any sort of feelings of scarcity, of lack, of there maybe not being enough resources in this world to go around for everyone and to have you leading a life that is abundant, do know here that a divine message that's showing up for you is that there is always enough. Next up, we have the panther spirit. In the panther spirit, I can see here that a divine message for you is to reclaim your power. A divine message for you is to remind yourself of who you are, how strong you are, and how powerful you can be. I can see here within the squirrel spirit that believing in yourself is what your guides want you to do. That is what your guides think that you need, that little extra push that is necessary for you to be able to reclaim your power. So being born between 12 p.m. noon and 6 p.m. in the evening may have left you a little bit vulnerable to overthinking or nitpicking at yourself and your accomplishments. So do know here in the squirrel spirit in conjunction to the panther spirit that believing in yourself and reclaiming your power, those things go hand in hand, and a divine message for you is to practice those things right now, to stop doubting yourself, but to move forward believing and understanding that there is enough in this world for all of us to lead an abundant life. There's no reason for anyone to hoard more resources than others. Even though that is something that happens on the planet, it isn't necessary. We can all live an abundant life, even if we were to share all the resources, both financial ones as well as material ones, amongst every single human being on this planet. We would all lead a pretty good life. So greed is definitely something that the divine wants to point out to you so that you can ensure that you're not being greedy, but at the same time, you're not afraid that there won't be enough for you. Next up, we have support. So in support, I can see that asking for help, getting more rest, as well as nurturing yourself is a divine message that's meant for you that you are being called to receive. So if you have been burning the candle at both ends, if you have been spending more time working or overexerting yourself for other people than you've spent doing anything else, this is a wake-up call for you. This is a sign that you need to refocus on yourself. I can see in compassion being gentle with yourself as well as forgiving with yourself is something that will set you free, as well as help you to see the light in yourself and others. When you're holding on to grudges, when you're holding on to preconceived notions, it can be hard to truly see the good in yourself or other people. So do know here in compassion that you're definitely being called to be gentle with yourself and to be gentle with your thoughts around other people. Don't harbor any type of negative or self-deprecating thoughts about yourself or others, even if you feel like human beings have done so much in this world that is dark, that isn't good, and that you feel ashamed of. Do know here in compassion that every person, even someone who has done the most vile action, that is just an action. That does not have to be them. They may still have light within them that you can see and that you can trigger, but you have to be that person who is compassionate and who can see beyond the actions that other human beings take and believe in them. Because often all it takes is one person to believe in another human being for them to want to embrace a side of themselves that is positive, that is filled with light, that is compassionate and caring towards other living beings. Next up, we have adventure. So in adventure, I can see that a divine message meant for you is that you should dare to do things differently. You should dare to manifest your travel dreams, and do so, of course, safely in this day and age, but also know here that moving to a new location is accessible to you right now, and your dream home or your dream location is definitely available at this point in time. I can see here within the flow that there is an easier path forward than you're on right now, than you're currently on. I can see in surrounding to the outcome of the flow that is a way how you can, of course, release your expectations, but also flow so much more easily. Also let life make things happen rather than wanting to sit in the driver's seat and steer everything in a particular direction. Sometimes the best thing for you to do is to just surrender to allowing the flow of life to take you on its wave and to bring you to where you need to go. So do know here within flow that this is definitely something that you can allow to happen rather than trying to fight against it or trying to control every single outcome and every single thing in the vicinity. I can see here within the tulip that there is great passion surrounding you, and great passion is a divine message that you are meant to hear, because if you feel like passion or just overall feeling comfortable in your body is something that is hard for you, do know here in compassion that literally all you need is a little bit of compassion for yourself. Compassion that you give other people all day long, okay? So you may see someone else who has an imperfect body or just something that they struggle with that you can tell by society's standards is not deemed the ideal, but you would still hype them up, wouldn't you? You would still tell them that they are amazing, that they are beautiful. So why not give that same compassion to yourself? Why not give yourself that same love? Why not hype yourself up in that way? That is how you can feel more passionate about your body and more confident in it. But you need to sometimes hype yourself up when you're alone and you have no one to be your cheerleader. Next, we have the skull. So in the skull, I do see here that some hidden secrets could harm you, some hidden things that you're unaware of. But I do see within the compassion card that it's very important for you to remind yourself that you will never know everything. There will always be hidden secrets, and there will always be things that are a little bit difficult to overcome and deal with when they do, that you cannot prep yourself for. So all you can do is stay as positive as possible. Try to prep as much as you can. but there is no guarantees. Next up, we have the firecracker. That's exactly what keeps life exciting, isn't it? That is exactly what keeps things interesting in life. All of my beautiful afternoon babies do know here in the firecracker that also during travels, you will have a lot of excitement. You will have a lot of things happen that you didn't expect, couldn't foretell, and that just overall will show you that it is okay to ask for help. Think of, for example, having an issue with your car, with your mode of transportation, needing some directions from a stranger. All of these things will kind of normalize you asking for help, as well as the excitement of getting in contact with another human being that you don't know and seeing really just how helpful actually a lot of people are, even though you may have not expected that. Next up, we have the hat. So in the hat, I can see here that playing different roles, that is a divine message that we have here for you that again can keep things exciting. In conjunction to speaking about your body, role play may be an exciting way for you to get comfortable in an otherwise uncomfortable situation. Feel comfortable in your body again because you are not overthinking what it looks like or what it represents. You are just completely in your role. And role playing is not something that you have to do with a romantic partner. You can just do this alone in front of the mirror. Imagine that you are that person that you look up to, that you find super attractive, and then try to embody their energy and just play this little game. Even if it makes you crack up and laugh, just having that lighthearted energy next time when you're in the mirror and you have a little bit of privacy is something that will truly help you feel more confident in your body and believe in yourself. So all of my beautiful signs of the zodiac born between 12 p.m. at noon and 6 p.m. in the evening. This is the second part of your reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you found it insightful and that you love this new fresh approach. Leave a little firecracker, pop, sizzle emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that this is the hour, the time in which you were born, the time frame. Thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all of my beautiful signs of the zodiac born between 6 p.m. in the evening and 12 a.m. at midnight. Let's move into your reading so we can figure out exactly what more divine messages that were meant for you. So I'll get straight into it with the Gentle Heart Tarot deck, which I authored. We have the Six of Cups. So in the Six of Cups, I can see here that a divine message that's available for you is that your relationships are going to just get better and better. If you are experiencing a rough patch in any of the relationships in your life, do know here in the Six of Cups that things are going to be looking up for you. Oh, I just love all the added rose gold foiling in my second edition of my deck. It just sparkles so beautifully. Next, we have the Three of Crystals. In the Three of Crystals, I see that you're going to have to leave self-doubt behind and leave any thoughts behind that make you feel insecure or that make you kind of like watch your back more than necessary. If you've been hurt before, then you know what it's like. You're kind of on the lookout for any signs, telltale signs of someone trying to hurt you again, because of course you don't want to repeat the same mistake. That is something that I think all of us try to avoid, but I do see here in the Three of Crystals getting a bit more secure in your skin and in your body about not everyone being out to get you is a divine message that you need to hear. In the Ten of Cups, I can see emotional fulfillment, I can see romantic fulfillment, and being able to be intimate with another human being in every sense of the way. So all of my beautiful evening and midnight babies, I do want you to know here in the Ten of Cups that your romantic life is definitely one that can benefit from letting go of baggage, letting go of past judgment and hurt, because giving everyone a fair chance and also trying to keep things spicy and new in the bedroom is definitely a divine message that you need to receive. We have the mouse spirit. Tend to the little details and don't overthink all of the big things that are already in motion. A lot of big things that are already in motion could be, for example, your studies, the work that you're doing right now, a relationship that's falling apart. So rather than trying to work on a big picture thing, something that you're going to go through regardless, work on the little things, okay? The little day-to-day experiences, what you're eating, what type of smells that you're taking in, scents that you're experiencing. Try treating yourself to little things like healthy meals, like amazing drinks, amazing literature, just to make your day-to-day better. No matter whether something amazing or something difficult is in motion in your life, try not to overthink the big things. Try to tend to the little things. That is one thing that I can see here as a divine message meant for you. In the fox spirit, you are being told to think on your feet and to be very careful how you move forward with changing course. Right now is not a good time for you to take detours, for you to change course on anything. So if you are unhappy with your living, studying, or work situation, try to just get through it for the next little bit. Things will be able to change sooner rather than later, but right now isn't the moment for you to make any impulsive decisions. Next up, we have the rabbit spirit. I can see that there is still a little bit of unexpected bounty and abundance that you can pick up. So think a promotion, think being able to pass an exam, or still get a nice experience out of a relationship that is maybe on the downward spiral that you are just meant to have an experience before you part ways or before you make any big decisions and changes to your life. You're not quite done with this chapter. I can see here in I keep the waters pure that the most important thing for you truly to focus on is just to do everything with pure intentions and a pure heart and goals. The outcomes are going to be positive as long as you stick to that. Furthermore, in conjunction to the Six of Cups and the Ten of Cups, your relationships really do benefit from your pure heart and from the fact that you're the type of person that others can count on. I can see here in I consume only my fair share that you are being called to look at sustainability, to look at how much stuff you're consuming, how much waste you're creating, and whether there's any way how you can go a bit more low waste. Next up, we have I create harmony. That will create harmony for you, and this divine message is here for you to empower you to become very conscious of the things that you're consuming, how much you're engaged in the mainstream consumerism, and how much you can kind of pull back comfortably without it affecting your life in a way that immediately shocks you or immediately makes you think, oh, this isn't for me. It's all about baby steps. It's all about creating harmony while still feeling like you're keeping the waters pure, quite literally. Creating less waste means less plastic in the ocean, so you are keeping the water pure and you are making sure that you're only consuming your fair share. That's a divine message that you must receive. Next, we have the Death card. So I did tell you that you had to hold on to your current cycle just a little bit longer. I do see here in the Death card that a transformation is coming, so your little while longer is really very short, but don't make any hasty decisions within the next days or the next 1 or 2 weeks, okay? No impulsive decisions, no big changes, just wait it out a little bit longer. Next, we have the Tower. So I can definitely see here in conjunction to the Tower that if you fail to do so, if you fail to just stay put and work through current difficulties to your best ability, you will definitely find things crumbling in a more dramatic way than necessary. I can see here in the Page of Rods that what's best for you to do right now is to channel any frustration or extra energy into talking to someone, a creative project, or working out, okay? Getting your body going, sweaty, and in a state where you don't have to overthink things in your life that maybe bother you or that you're maybe not 100% satisfied with. I can see here in growth that seeking out a mentor or guide is the best thing for you to do right now. You are ready. The student is ready. The teacher is going to appear. I can see that taking baby steps as you grow and being willing to learn from others is the best thing that you can do in your situation right now. Next, we have the hope card. Stay positive, okay? The worst is behind you. Look up to the light, leave the shadows behind, leave the darkness behind, and focus on the opportunity. Focus on staying positive and optimizing your waste production. Next up, we have the balance card. In the balance card, I can see that taking time to relax, indulging a little more or less, and setting boundaries with your work is what's essential for you to do right now. This is a divine message that you are meant to receive in conjunction to the strength card. In the strength card, I can see that this challenge is going to make you stronger. You will get through to the other side and look for the gifts in the situation. And this is one thing that I have said a few times recently, that any person or any situation that really gets under your skin, that really makes you feel annoyed and angry, that is the biggest teacher in your life. Because if that wasn't the case, you would not be aware of the fact that you still have some growing and learning and acceptance to do. So all of my beautiful babies of the zodiac, born between 6 p.m. in the evening and 12 a.m. at midnight, this is the second part of your reading that I received. I hope that you loved this fun, fresh approach to another pick a card reading. Let me know down below in the comment section. Leave a bee emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that this is the time during which you were born, and I'll catch you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all of my beautiful babies of the zodiac whose birth time is unknown. It was very important for me to be able to include you into this video because not everyone has the privilege of knowing the exact time of their birth. This could be because it just wasn't accessible at the time of your birth. Maybe you're adopted, so therefore this information is maybe one that slipped between the cracks. I mean, whatever the reason, I still want you to be able to receive a reading that is tailored to you. So let's move into the second part of your reading. And also, I just want to point out that of course you can watch any other timestamp for the times if you feel really drawn to a time, because you may intuitively know when in fact that you were born. But let's move straight into it. We have the King of Crystals. So in the King of Crystals, I can see here that a divine message meant for you is to bring out your authoritative type of energy, bring out your leadership quality energy, and don't be afraid to make a decision. Don't be afraid to be bold and to do something that others didn't expect or did not see coming. This stands for very strong fire sign energy, meaning Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries energy. I can see here in the Five of Crystals we have more fire sign energy, and I do see that fighting for what's right and fighting for what you want may be necessary in the next days and weeks. So do know here that fighting for what you want, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I personally am not a very competitive person, so I really dislike having to compete or fight for things, but sometimes you really just do have to put your best foot forward and to kind of, fight for what it is that you desire and kind of elbow other people out of the way who are trying to get ahead of you by jumping the line. I can see here in the King of Swords that just being outspoken, being honest, and being real is necessary for you. So by elbowing people out of the way, I mean, of course, people who are trying to take your spot, even though they didn't wait in the line. Jumping the line, trying to get ahead through being a little fraudster, trying to get ahead in the wrong manner. In the King of Swords, I see that you need to know that it's okay to call someone out in their tracks. You don't need to feel bad about that. You don't need to feel like you're doing something wrong or you're being impolite. I do want you to know here in the King of Swords that just being honest and outspoken has a time and a place, and the time and place is definitely there when someone is trying to take away from your accomplishments or your abundance through just basically stealing it from you. Next up, we have the Knight of Rods. In the Knight of Rods, I can see here that yes, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel weird to call someone out who usually doesn't get called out. But do know that you will be celebrated as kind of like a mini hero, as someone who stood up to a bully and as someone who paved the way for others to feel empowered to stand up for themselves. I can see here within the Emperor that again, this leadership and authoritative type of energy is what you need right now. The divine message for you is to also plan ahead and to keep in mind that you are in the driver's seat of the vehicle that is the journey of your life, okay? You are the one calling the shots, making the decisions. So decide where you want to live. Decide what type of amount of money you want to make every year. Decide what partner you want to be with. And then don't overthink it. Don't feel like it's not possible. Simply follow through with actions. I made a manifestation video. I'll leave it linked down below in the comment section right before this pick a card reading, so you can check that out on tips on how to manifest literally anything. Next, we have the Hermit. So in the Hermit, I do see that spending a little bit of time just pondering your ideas and pondering in the great unknown what it is that you can do to move forward is probably not bad either, okay? Taking some time to write down all your goals and aspirations, because of course when you're planning you need to have some sort of end goal in mind. I can see here within trust, which is something that we just spoke about, that you need to also allow yourself to leap into the unknown, to have faith and still move forward. Believe that you will fly. So set your little, how should I say, your little pin in your goal and believe that you can get there. Don't question how you're going to get there. Don't question if the pin is too far, too high, in an area that's too hard for you to reach. Just set the pin wherever you want it and know that you are able to get there through, of course, inspired action, as well as continuing to plan, believe in yourself, and manifest. Next up, we have celebration. So a divine message meant for you is that a positive outcome is assured. Celebrate your success. Enjoy your achievements. Don't let anyone get in between you and your achievements. There are people who will try to get in the way of your celebration. There are people who may try to always pick a fight or cause problems when it's time for you and your accomplishments to be celebrated. Become aware of that ahead of time so that you can already prep yourself mentally, prep yourself to call them out really quickly, give them a little slap on the wrist, and then not allow it to affect any further celebration or any further bit of your accomplishment. Because of course, a great mistake that you could make is to overthink a situation with another person during your birthday party, your wedding, just some celebration that is supposed to be about you, or maybe you're just having a little moment while talking to another person and a friend, a family member comes and kind of belittles your accomplishment. Don't give them the satisfaction of taking your moment away. Just put them in their spot, continue with your moment. Next up, we have I speak positively of others. So this is where you are being called to understand that being direct and upfront, that is the kindest and best thing you can do. You're not speaking badly about anyone behind their back. Speaking positively of others is the only thing that you do when the person in question isn't around, and if you need to call someone out, you will do it right in front of them. Don't wait, don't talk to anyone, don't gossip to anyone. Talk directly to the person who you're dealing with, and when you are making a new friend or talking to an acquaintance, a work colleague, only speak highly of others, because when you don't speak highly of others, whoever it is that you're gossiping to will think, Are they going to gossip about me too as soon as I turn around? Are they going to say negative things about me too? And you, of course, don't want to be that person. Next up, we have I keep my own counsel. Yes, okay, that leadership energy, that energy that shows that you can do anything that you set your mind to. You don't have to ask anyone for permission. You don't have to feel as though the only person who can help you towards success is someone other than you, okay? You keep your own counsel, check in with yourself, hold yourself accountable. Don't wait for someone else to do it or blame someone else for anything within your life. I can see here within the horse spirit that when you are able to do that, when you manage to be 100% sufficient when it comes to your emotional needs and when it comes to your ambition, pushing yourself forward and believing that you can accomplish the things that you set your mind to, that is real freedom. When you don't need anyone to tell you to move ahead, when you don't need anyone to cheer you on, but you have yourself. Of course, having people in your life, it's nice. It is necessary in some instances, but being independent enough, even in difficult situations where maybe loved ones don't have time to be your cheerleaders, to still be able to push yourself forward and to still be able to overcome self-doubt, that is freedom, because then you're making decisions intuitively. You're making decisions based on what you really want and not waiting for anyone to give you permission. Last but not least, we have the bee spirit. So in the bee spirit, I can see here that sweet results await you. And that is a divine message that you're meant to hear. Last but of course not least, within your reading, all of my beautiful signs of the zodiac with an unknown birth time, that just because there are certain things in your life that you maybe wish you had but don't, such as knowledge over the time in which you were born, doesn't mean that your life can't be awesome and amazing moving forward. Know that other people have things that they wish that they had that you have had. Other people envy you for your character, for your ambition, for the fact that you are so strong. I see such strong and confident leadership energy within you. And that is something to be proud of, and that is something for you to celebrate and for you to put like front and center in your resume and in your daily life. So all of my beautiful signs of the zodiac with an unknown birth time, know that you are loved and know that you are so important to this world. Leave a race car emoji down below within the comment section, because while others are overthinking, you have already lapped them many times. And of course, to just use this as an opportunity to manifest what you desire. So all of my beautiful souls, thank you for tuning into this reading. I hope that you love this new and fresh approach to a pick a card reading. Let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos.